everybody. This is Keith Gleason, and welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay with my good friend Johnny C. How's it going, Johnny?
What's up, everybody?
How you doing tonight, brother?
It's another wonderful Wednesday.
I know, right? I know, we're getting in the groove here every other Wednesday, starting to find our footing and, getting a little groove on with the show and doing a few bonus episodes like that Halloween one we did on Sunday. Was a lot of fun. So if you guys missed that, check that out. That was a lot of fun.
That one was Lord of the Rings sized.
Yeah, it was. I think I learned my lesson from that one, that I think if I do another list show like that, I think we're just going to do 2 instead of 3. I think that made the difference,
What I learned that night was that, and me with my technical errors and all the different hardware that I try to jump onto this stream with. I've used old laptops that failed. Yeah. I've learned that my cell phone has exactly 2 hours and 30 minutes of StreamYard that it can take before it puts out.
So lesson learned, don't use the cell phone when we're doing one of those shows, right? Yeah.
Honestly, what it did was it put me on the hunt for a webcam, for a dedicated webcam, just for my solid PC system. But that's hardware talk, and we're here for comics, so we'll get that out of the way.
Yep. We have actually, let me say hello to a few people before we bring in our guests. We got Roland in here tonight. Roland, how's it going?
What's up, Roland?
Got Ara. Ara's with us tonight. How's it going, Ara?
Good on, Ara. Good to see you, man.
Definitely. So Johnny, are you a fan of martial arts?
I love martial arts movies. I love martial arts games and comics. I love all of it.
All right. Well, our guest tonight is got a martial arts comic coming out soon to Indiegogo. And his name is Julius Freeman. We're going to bring him in right now. Julius, how's it going, man?
Oh, man. How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing tonight?
Yeah,
you're welcome, man. Good. I'm glad we could have you on because the comic you got coming out looks very interesting. Looks right up both our alleys, actually.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that.
So before we get into the Indiegogo that you have coming up for Ghetto Dragon, I just want to learn a little bit more about your background, as a creator. Have you how long have you been doing comics?
Yeah, well, what's the origin story? We need your origin story here.
Oh man, I'm excited to tell this origin story. I've been doing comics for 10 years now. I've been trying to break in. Yeah, I've been trying to break into the actual industry for 10 years. Doing blind submissions, getting hiring artists to do other various submissions. Because outside of Ghetto Dragon, I've had other books that I produced. I actually did publish one book called The Cleansing that's on Comixology. And slowly just trudging on, man, just soldiering on, trying to get somehow into the industry. And I was about to call it quits until I learned about Indiegogo and the crowdfunding game. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, what is this? And then I jumped back into social media because I kind of stepped away from it for a while. And then when I jumped back in, I was like, holy crap, all this stuff happened, man. Well, damn, it was like, when you leave comics for a while, when you stop reading a Marvel book or whatever for a few months and you go back into it, hey, what the hell? What happened to this character?
Right.
What happened to that character? So that's how
the whole world is shifted.
Yeah, it's gone. It's different. It's whoa, this is crazy. And so when I jumped back into the game, what was that?
What did you say, Johnny?
What to Wolverine?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. It's wait, what happened with Comicsgate War Campaign? What's happening here? What's going on?
I know.
Yeah, I know. The comic scene before and after 2016 is such a different beast,
Man, dude, tell me about it, man. Tell me about it. I came back in 2017. Yeah, around that time when I started.
How long did you give up comics for?
I didn't really give up. I was more I stepped back to change my game plan. What was going to be my game plan?
Now, are you more Are you more on the writing end or the art end of comics?
Oh no, writing, man, writing and
writing. Okay,
yeah, 100%. However, it was more. I used to read Jim Shooter's blog. I don't know if you guys ever had a chance to check out his blog.
No,
I haven't read the blog, but we're familiar with Jim. I mean,
yeah.
Jim's great.
His blog was freaking like that was an eye opener for me because he gave so much advice for free in his blog.
Really?
And yeah, you should check it out. I think it's jimshooter.com or something like that.
Okay, and that's good to know for everybody that's listening.
Oh yeah,
if
you're a writer or an artist even, you should check out his blog because he really does give sound advice. And one of the advice that he did give was, if you're a writer and you can't draw, the best advice he gave was you have to think visually when you write a script. Think as if you're gonna draw it, so that way when you write the script, you know that okay, you're gonna make the job extremely easy for the artist who's gonna get your script. And keep your words to a minimum, and make sure that the artist has a clear picture of your script, so that way when the artist does get the script, it's like butter, it just smooth as wine. And that's what I've been focused on for the past few years, to get my craft nice and sharp.
Yep. Yeah. Now, Julius, I wanted to ask. I wanted to actually ask you about, like, before the spider bite, so to speak. What led you to take the creative path? So, what was
what made you jump from like being a reader to like I want to create this stuff?
Yeah, that's the true stuff. That's the real word.
I want to give it's a name that everyone's familiar with, and now he's become a polarized figure. But the guy's name is Alan Moore. That's pretty much Alan Moore was when I was about 21 or so. I was kind of burnt out on the superhero genre because I had been reading comics since I was 13. So for 5 years straight, I was just buying Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. Didn't matter who wrote it. Didn't matter who drew it. I was just buying those comics because of the characters. And then by 20, I was like, oh, I'm kind of burnt out. I'm looking for something new. And so the guy who worked at the comic book store that I used to go to, he told me, hey, have you heard of this book called V for Vendetta? That might be something you're looking for. I was like, okay, sure. Yeah. Do you have it? He said, yeah, we have a trade here. And so I bought it. And I read it the same night. I couldn't put that book down. I was like, what? And that was the moment where I was like, you can make comics like these? Like, it doesn't involve superheroes? You could do like actual stories like that involve like complex characters and crazy settings and sci-fi, fantasy setting. It blew my mind. And after that, that was it. I was like, okay, I'm in. I want this. I want to do this. I want to try to do this and work this out because I've always been a highly imaginative kid growing up. And so I said, okay, this is it. This is my calling. I'm gonna go for it. I don't care how long it takes me. I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna do it.
Awesome.
So
that's a great jumping on point too. I mean, of all the things, V for Vendetta, kicking it off and sparking that creative fire within you is on. And that book specifically too, given the content of it, very wordy too. You know what I mean? Even
very wordy.
For
you haven't read From Hell
From Hell was crazy, man. From Hell was absolutely bonkers. I was like, oh my god.
From Hell was great, but there's that whole section where he's going around the city and talking about the architecture.
Yeah,
I was like, oh. I
love that. I love that.
I mean, I love that it was so full of information, but the information for me was just like, oh god, it's too much. It was like too much for me.
Over the head with it.
Yeah,
too much. Yeah.
But I love that about Alan Moore and how meticulous he is. Like, you know what I mean? Like the way he approaches a story. Watchmen, V for Vendetta, all fantastic, and Swamp Thing run is unbelievable too.
Swamp Thing was amazing. But I will say my favorite Alan Moore run was Miracle Man. That's number one for me.
I gotta read that. That's one of the few things I haven't read by him, and I heard that was amazing.
It's freaking out of this world. Great.
Okay, I'll have to get that someday.
Yeah, I have the original Eclipse comics. It took me about 5 years to look.
Those must be worth some bucks, huh?
Some, yeah, some. But I know the Marvel reprint kind of, put him down in value, but I don't care. It was a treasure hunt. It took me 5 years, and it was worth every penny that I spent looking for each issue until the end of it. And I was so happy.
That's the collector's spirit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
So,
I'm sorry,
go ahead, Johnny. No, go ahead. What were you going to say, Johnny?
Well, I was going to say that kind of leads us up to Ghetto Dragon a little bit, right? So, you've got the drive to create something. Like, what was kind of the precipice? What was the inspiration, the true core inspiration for Ghetto Dragon?
Oh wow, the true core inspiration. First of all, it was Bruce Lee. That was number one, obviously, with the character wearing the not the jacket, the sweater. But the second thing, honestly, it's a story. It's something that I witnessed when I was about 19 years old. I was walking home from the grocery store, and I took the alleyway. I used to take the alleyway to my house, and I walked past an adjacent alley, and I saw three guys chasing one guy, and the one guy that one guy was able to knock out all those three guys as they were rushing him.
Oh my god!
and the third guy, but after he knocked him out, he ran to safety. And so I went home and I wrote, crazy thing I saw today. I logged into my journal. The guy beat up three guys, and it'd be cool if he was like a martial artist and he was fighting gangsters. And that was the seed that eventually grew to the Ghetto Dragon that we have today. So the core was a mixture of Bruce Lee's philosophy, because I'm a huge fan of Bruce Lee and his movies. And the second thing was that moment walking home from the supermarket and seeing an actual street fight.
You saw some real life Karate Kid shit.
Oh yeah, man, I sure have. Yep, I sure did.
Which is appropriate given you're in SoCal.
Yeah, exactly.
That's great.
Thank you, Michael.
Stuff. Yeah, did you see the other comment? Junior said, Julius gets down, thinks outside the box with his story.
Thank you, Junior. I appreciate that.
That's great. What was I gonna say? Yeah, that's a crazy story. Like I just picture the guy just leaving after that, like it was no big deal.
Yeah, no, he didn't leave. He ran because he wanted to get away, to safety. So it was like a kind of like, because a street fight is not like what people think it is. A street fight is
it's like brutal. It's
situation. So the guy just wanted to get away from there because he wasn't sure if more people were going to come out, and so he bounced.
That's crazy.
But it was still amazing to see him, throw one punch and two and three, and then the guy's body's just falling down like flies. Boom, 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 one after the other. I was like, wow. That guy must be a boxer or something, but he bounced.
Maybe he was. Where was this? This was in California, right?
In Southern California, where I grew up.
Maybe he was like the West Coast guardian angel, part of Guardian Angels or something,
Oh, maybe.
That's what it reminds me of a little bit, Yeah. That's awesome. That's great that that inspired this book that you're working on,
Yeah, it took a lot of years.
Something
years. Yeah,
definitely.
It was a lot of years in the making. It went through a few incarnations, actually. The first incarnation of Ghetto Dragon was too close to the new Karate Kid. So I had to change it all over again, because the original idea was that he was going to go to China and be left there, and then he was going to be trained by an old master in China that was the student of Bruce Lee, an actual student of Bruce Lee's. And he was going to go back to America and then become, the hero or not. But then the next Karate Kid came out with Jaden Smith, and I was like, whoa, this is way too close to that. So I changed it. I completely changed it.
It's funny how Hollywood can do that to one of your ideas, right?
Yeah,
you see something like crap. Actually, so that happened with Sartana, my spaghetti western comic book. I was going to have somebody eat a heart, and then they did that in the Lone Ranger. And I was like,
really?
And I was like, shit, I'm done. It was like,
oh, that sucks, man.
It's the worst.
It was in the ether, and then someone just beat you to it.
Yeah, for real.
That's usually what happens, you know. Yeah, let me pop up some people.
Can we pull up the trailer, maybe, Keith?
Yeah, let's see some. I want to show some
go for it. Let's do it.
Artwork here too, you know.
Yeah, I love that you made a trailer for a comic book. I have that for Sartana, and I don't think people do that enough with just like content and showing some of the panels and stuff. I mean, more so on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, but like you don't commonly see that.
The thing I love about your artist is the action is so good, actually.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. Alan Fletcher. His name is Alan Fletcher. He's from England, but he lives in Switzerland at the moment, or I think Switzerland, I believe, or Denmark. I can't remember, one of those two countries. I can't remember which of the two. But he's also a huge Bruce Lee fan, which is the reason why he jumped on the project. Oh, wow. Yeah, so that was a plus. That was definitely a plus on my end to get an artist who was just as excited as I was to get a book out there that kind of it's a lot in a lot of ways. It's a love letter to not only the old Hong Kong movies but Bruce Lee movies as well.
A lot of Bruce Lee inspiration permeates through the preview page of the Indiegogo campaign. Like, there's a lot there to unpack as a Bruce Lee fan that I can see where you may have pulled inspiration from, you know.
Yeah, this looks like a great campaign. So everybody out there, if you're checking this out, you like martial arts, you like Bruce Lee, definitely sign up for the pre-launch here. Help Julius, you know, get a good email campaign together, you know. And I think I might have signed up already, Julius, but
great.
I'm gonna.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Like I definitely want to back this once it goes live. I think this looks like a great campaign. And the other thing I was going to say too, the action and everything in the comic, I love that it's very action packed. A lot of comics today, even the superhero books, there's like barely any action in them now. And I talk about this with Johnny a lot. Like a lot of the modern writers, you know, like they love to write the story, but when it gets to like the part that the payoff, which I always thought was the action scenes,
right?
They chintz out on them. Like I can even point to like recently in Justice League, I was reading with Scott Snyder, who was a great writer, a great modern writer. He has this great scene where Batman is like, you know, like in this, you know, his legs are broken and he has this like, you know, bat robot suit. And all of a sudden, like the Legion of Doom comes busting through the wall. He's the only one at the League of, you know, the Justice League headquarters. And then they cut off to something else. And then when they come back to that scene, he's already beat up all the Legion of Doom. And I'm like, wait a second. I wanted to see how that happened.
Yeah,
that's a cop-out.
Yeah, it's such a cop-out. And I'm like, I get that they want to decompress it and like, you know, get you more story, but at the same time, I always like picture if they did that in Avengers Infinity War, like they, they build up this big fight with Thanos, and then they just talk it out. I mean, come on, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, absolutely.
As a moviegoer, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I never understand how they just don't do that with the comics. So that's what I wanted to say. I love the action scenes.
Thanks, appreciate that.
But yeah, let's
roll that trailer.
Let's watch the trailer, and
Can you go full screen with it, Keith, by any chance?
Yeah, I think I can. Let me make it full screen here.
Yeah. So wait, before you hit play, this mask, I'm absolutely in love with. I need to know a little bit more about that in a second. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me play it and let everybody watch it here. And like I said, everybody out there, watch the video, sign up for Julius's campaign. This looks great. So, all right, let's watch this.
Oh, we might be out on audio, but this looks great.
Oh, can you not hear the audio?
Yeah, we can't hear I can't hear the
audio.
I don't know if the audience can, but this looks fantastic.
All right, let me try this. Let me see if we can. Can you hear it?
Yeah, let's take it from the top.
All right.
Stop at nothing.
It's alive. Anything can happen.
Yep. The music's great. Love it.
Welcome to the pre-launch of the Ghetto Dragon, Book 1, No Good Deed, a 60-plus page story about a young man named Matt Guerra who saves an underage girl from being kidnapped by a heartless, gruesome gang named Los Valientes, who will stop at nothing to protect their street cred. Follow Matt as he pays the consequences of his good deed with his fists, causing Los Valientes to turn their sights on his family. Does our hero back down, or does he stand his ground? Join us in this martial arts adventure that involves action, drama, a little romance, and tragedy. Follow Julius Freeman on Twitter and Facebook for the latest updates. Also, check out his YouTube channel and subscribe where you can join him in exploring the rich history behind the creation of the Ghetto Dragon. Sign up for previews today, where you will have first dibs of receiving your book. Help make it happen for the Ghetto Dragon, Book 1, No Good Deed. You won't regret it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Thank you guys. Thank you. I appreciate that. You have no idea how much I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely, Julius. Not a problem, man. I think this looks like a great project. So it's book 1. Is it? What's the size of the book? Is it a full like regular size floppy, or is it like a graphic?
No,
novel?
it's going to be a 50 or so. I know it says 60 pages, but I'm hoping to add some extra pages depending on the campaign, the outcome of the campaign. But it was supposed to be one whole book, and the artist, Alan, he had to go back to school, and so he told me he wouldn't be able to focus on the project until after school. And so I decided, okay, you know what? Maybe the best thing for me is to cut the book in half and release the first half of the book complete. And then once he's done and has more time to produce the second half of the book, then I can release book 2. Which, if you guys thought that book 1's full of action, wait until you guys check out book 2, because book 2 is gonna be freaking off the charts. I can't wait. I can't wait for you guys to actually, find out what the book 2 has in store. So consider book 1 kind of like the first Raid movie. Have you seen the Raid movies?
Oh,
Yeah.
I love the Raid.
So the first Raid was something that he had to produce on the budget because the studio, they weren't really, they didn't, originally the director wanted to make Raid 2 as part 1, but the studio was like, no, that's too big and you haven't really proven yourself yet, so why not just take a little piece of the movie you want to make and make it into one movie, and if that does well, then we'll give you money for the sequel. And that's what happened. So hopefully that's what you get if the campaign is proven to be a success.
Excellent. So how many volumes overall do you envision?
Oh man, I'm hoping for 4, maybe 4 or 5 volumes. The book 1 and book 2 are essentially prequels. They're essentially things that his story that happens when he's a young man. The story that I do want to show you guys is a story that takes place when he's in his 30s. That's the story I want to produce. That's the story I'm aiming for.
That's what you're building to?
Yeah, that's what I'm building to. And if you go on my YouTube channel, I talk about the first few times I tried to get Ghetto Dragon off the ground. That's the story I wanted to originally pitch to Image Comics, which was the story that took place in his 30s. But since it didn't happen, I decided to scale it back and go back and go, you know what? Maybe I should just start with his origin first and then tell the story I want to tell later. So that's the goal that I have.
That makes sense.
So it makes sense to do the origin first, I think, and in some cases like this is awesome.
Yeah, so the other thing I wanted to add, so I noticed throughout the trailer, there's a lot of like aesthetic that's very kind of Bruce Lee inspired. The yellow and black of that mask.
Right.
That reminds me like a lot of his traditional jumpsuit from Game of Death. So is that kind of a little bit where that is inspired from?
Yeah, actually, it's mainly inspired by Lucha Libre. I'm a huge fan of Mexican wrestling, Lucha Libre.
Yep.
And the artist,
Lucha Bros.
Yeah, Lucha Bros. All the way.
Mexican Kings.
And so I had this idea. Well, I don't want to give away why he's wearing the mask. You would have to read the book to find out why he's wearing the mask. But I essentially told the artist, look, I'm looking for something that's uniquely, yeah, like you said, Bruce Lee inspired, black and yellow. So that way, when he wears it, it's uniquely his and no one else's. And also, too, I don't want to get sued either by a Mexican wrestling promotion for using one of their masks.
So I definitely got like a lucha flavor from it. I got a little bit of like a kick-ass flavor from it.
A little bit.
And then I also like, I made a note earlier that I go, like looking at that mask makes me feel like if Bruce Lee ever created a superhero, this would be like the kind of mask it would look like. So,
wow, that'd be crazy if that was the case.
Like when I saw it, you know.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, that's great. That's actually a good. I didn't even thought of that. I just kind of just made it up as I created it when I wrote the script. So, but that's all. The design was really the artist, because I like to give artists creative liberty. Yeah, a creative liberty. So that way, okay, here's what I'm looking for, and then you give me some sketches, and then I'll decide which ones were good, or maybe edit some things here and there. But that's all. That was Alan right there, all the way, and I liked it right off the bat. And I was like, all right, that's good. Let's go with that. And so we went with that.
The flavors of your inspirations are there, and they permeate throughout the whole project, it seems, and I love that a lot. Like even like the action sequences remind me a little bit of like Tony Jaa and
yeah.
And,
that's a good eye. Yeah, that's actually everything you see in this comic it came from my consumption of not only old Hong Kong movies, but also modern ones, like you say, Tony Jaa and I can never pronounce his name. The guy from The Raid. I can never pronounce the actor's name.
I forget his name too.
Uki or Okai. I don't want to butcher it.
I don't want to butcher, but his style as well of Silat. But mainly it's mainly inspired by the philosophy of Jeet Kune Do, which was created by Bruce Lee, and that's the style with no style. That's the martial arts of street fighting, I guess, is what Bruce Lee put it as. Yep. And that's what I wanted to convey when I created the Ghetto Dragon, is the element of if you come attack me, then I'm gonna do you worse because you came and attacked me and I'm just defending myself. And the whole thing with Jeet Kune Do is the what's the word I'm looking for, is to take down your opponent as quick as possible, because you don't want a street fight to last any longer than a few minutes, because obviously there's injury involved, and there's obviously the chances of losing get higher and higher if you're in a street fight. So that's what I wanted to convey with the Ghetto Dragon story.
Like the 1-inch punch and all that stuff. Like having, being someone that has read a lot of the John Little books on the Bruce Lee philosophies, I can kind of like see, and I'm looking forward to reading it further and kind of seeing where your inspiration is derived from, and kind of seeing the, having that contextual basis going into this story. I'm really excited to read it even more so,
Great, man. That's great. I'm happy to hear that. I'm happy for that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this project looks great. So Julius, tell us a little bit about your other comic that you first created.
The one I actually did publish through Comixology was called The Cleansing, and that comic was produced back in 2000. I think it was 2000. I want to say 2015 or 14. Full disclosure, I wasn't really entirely happy with it. not so much the artist. The artist was Andre Araujo. If you guys don't know who Andre Araujo is, he now draws for Marvel. He drew Avengers AI, I think, with Sam Humphries. So he's gone on to become, the big time superstar artist that I knew he would become when I worked with them the first time. It's Mobius inspired, so the style is very Mobius-esque. Jean Giraud, the French artist. And I'll admit to you guys as well that I wish I would have hired an editor for this book, because there was a lot of rookie mistakes I made in this book. But overall, I thought the art was great. The lettering was pretty good. It's just that I wish like I said, I wish I had hired an editor to look over the script and guide me to producing this story properly the way I had originally wanted to be written.
This is
but yeah,
fun.
I mean that artwork, yeah,
damn good for a first comic though. I mean, like,
yeah,
you didn't, like some rookie mistakes that usually first time indie creators do is like bad lettering. The lettering's here is really good.
Oh, thanks.
The art,
thanks.
it definitely looks like Mobius. Yeah, this looks interesting. And
it's a
one
it's
shot?
about it's a one shot. It's a one shot deal. I'm thinking about doing a print run on Indiegogo, but I'm still working out I'm still working. I have to rework the story a little bit because, like I said, I wish I had an editor. But now that I'm older and I have a bit more experience, I might be able to salvage what I can from what I produced. The story is about a cosmic voyager who is investigating the disappearance of a terraformer who's a colleague of his. And he lands on the green planet. And that last page you saw there, the little twist that starts the story is that he lands on Atlantis. That's the lost city of Atlantis.
Oh, okay.
So he has to investigate how this city came about when his colleague who showed up there thousands of years before, it was a very new planet. So there was no the species, the intelligent life form, the sentient life form was still an infant stage. So now he has to investigate, hey, how'd this thing get here? This advanced technological civilization. This doesn't belong here. So he has to investigate how it got there, and that's where the story takes off.
Awesome.
Nice. That's very cool.
A lot of nootropics like acid when writing.
He did.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt it.
It reminds me of like a 70 like sci-fi like acid trip movie. Or like
that's what I was going
the
for.
Visitor. Like I don't know if you ever saw The Visitor before or anything, but like it reminds me a little bit of that.
No,
Well,
Visitor, not. I never heard of that one.
You can actually even if you do a print run, you could offer that as a perk on your Ghetto Dragon campaign.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Figure out how much it'll cost to print up a run and build that in as like a stretch goal or something,
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. I don't know how that would work with the genre, hey, get this martial arts book and then get the sci-fi book.
You could market it as like your, the Julius Freeman collection or something,
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Food for thought. I'll have to think about that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, it's, I haven't read it, and I'm like you. Like when I look at my old stuff, I'm like, ugh. But
yeah.
That's natural though, as a creator. We're our own worst critics, right? So even and it's funny. It's just like even some people who approach you or approach me specifically, and they're like, "Oh, I really love this book," and me knowing that I'm my own worst critic, going like that one's the one I tear apart the worst. You know what I mean? It's just it's one of those things. And I think Elvira makes a good point. Rookie mistakes gain wisdom, right?
That's true. Very true, Elvira. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
But I think that's it. If you're not learning from the stuff you did previously, you just get kind of caught and you just, I don't know, like you're not growing as a creator,
Absolutely. You're absolutely right about that for sure.
So no, that looks cool too. I mean, this looks like good stuff, man. So let me see. So what other are you so with the Ghetto Dragon, is that going to be your primary creation for the next few years, like just putting those books out?
That will be one of them. Yeah, I have other projects too that I want to get off the ground. I have a political thriller that I want to produce called Operation Guardian, which is something that's still I read Stephen King's On Writing, the book he wrote about writing, and the one thing he did mention about a good idea is when it keeps nagging at you, like it's like a woodpecker, right?
Right.
And that project Operation Guardian is like this, like come on. And so I'm hoping I can get that off the ground. There's another sci-fi project called Project Genesis. I think that's what it's called, or Gen X. I can't think of the name yet. I'll go back and forth with those two titles, but that's a short 4-issue story that I want. Again, it's a woodpecker, poking at me. It's like, come on, it's only 4 issues, man. Just gotta get out there. Just get out there.
Yeah, I know that.
So I'm hoping that I'm hoping that the Ghetto Dragon project will give me I guess a good credit score, to the readers out there to go, oh, this guy's pretty good. Maybe if he does more stuff, I'll support more of his work. And so I'm hoping this is this will be like a trial run, I guess, the first book 1 Ghetto Dragon, because I now know that delivery of product is important as well when it comes to crowdfunding campaigns. And my goal for the Ghetto Dragon is to get it into the reader's hands as soon as possible. And right now I'm thinking about maybe a 4 to 5 month time period where you get the book in your hands after the campaign is over. So by February, maybe March, that's the time where I start shipping the books out and people will start getting the books.
Yeah, I think that's important, is to give yourself some lead time to deliver.
Right.
And then and the other suggestion I would make, because I've done a few Kickstarters and Indiegogos. The lowest goal you can go.
I would imagine.
I've been pushing that with people, just because when you're in the thick of it, it's you gotta call in like every favor that every person you ever do, down to like kindergarten, to try to to get somebody to look at it, and back it. I think you have I haven't seen the actual campaign yet, but just the sign up page looks really good. So this book will sell itself. If you get it in the get on a bunch of shows on YouTube if you can. Too,
that's the goal. That's why I emailed you guys to say, hey guys, you have a spot. I was hoping it would have been live by now, but like I said, there's some things here and there that I need to fix, and I didn't want to jump the gun just yet until I have everything situated. And once I have everything situated, pull the trigger. So I'm hoping by this weekend everything will be tied up and to an and then launch it.
I said if it goes any longer than that, you may want to wait, because as soon as you start getting into the holidays, that might affect people pledging and stuff. So
I know.
If you don't get it launched by this weekend, I would say maybe wait till February to launch it. Just so you're successful with it.
I know the pre-launch. I think Indiegogo lets you keep a pre-launch for 6 months or so. If I
definitely. How long ago did you launch it?
I launched a pre-launch about a month and a half now. I think
you got time, So I would say do that, and that way you're successful. If you launch during the holidays, it might be a little tough.
Yeah, that's fair.
It might be tough. So, but the grind with Indiegogo's, I just finished mine, but a few other guys at the Turner creators are having they're grinding it out now, trying to make those goals, and it's I see them on Twitter every second with stuff, and it's just it's tough, man. It's tough,
It is tough.
A lot of campaigns going. Honestly, crowdfunding is, I think, going to be the future of the industry.
Oh yeah, definitely. I believe it is. I believe it's going to be the future of the industry, because it's so convenient to just contribute something and then wait in the mail to get it, as opposed to going to a store and buying the book, which is it's kind of tragic, because the reason why I got into comics was because I stepped foot into a comic book store.
Right.
So I don't want the stores to go away. So I'm hoping that if it does become, the future, completely, I'm hoping that the creators who do find some success in crowdfunding will do something to help their local comic book retailers, in some form or fashion. I don't know how. I guess people will have to figure it out, or think of something. But I don't want the comic book stores to go away, because, like I said, those were, for me, it was a good doorway for me to open. Wow, this is like Wizard of Oz, Dorothy entering Oz. Wow, this is amazing. What is this place?
Yeah.
Superman, Batman. Oh, what's that? Spawn. Wow, Spawn. What's Spawn? That was, to me, that was a big deal for 13 years old when I first stepped into a comic book store.
Because for a long time, I just bought comics off the spinner rack at the Walden Books, and then
okay.
And then walked into my first store for the first time, and I was like, "Oh my god, what am I?" You miss so much stuff, that's not on
absolutely.
spinner racks, But yeah, no, I definitely understand that. I guess it's going to depend on what happens with Marvel and DC, coming up in the next year, and seeing how DC's having so many problems and laying off people, and
AT&T, man, AT&T just gets that hatchet, just cuts.
The problem is, as much as you may not like Marvel or DC, or if you just if you're more of an independent guy, it's like they're needed to draw people to the stores so that you have that chance to kind of outshine Batman and Superman, but it's like if Marvel and DC go under, I mean, I think stores are going to have a really hard time staying open.
And that's where that's why I say, go back to my point, is that the indie creators who do find success in crowdfunding will have to step up and hopefully find some kind of form or fashion to help out your local comic book stores, because comic book stores are not national; they're constrained to their locality. So the people in their respective areas will have to do something. Well, not have to do something, but if they want to, they could provide something to keep the doors open and have the new generation of readers come in and check out maybe not only Batman and Superman, the mainstream heroes, but also the indie stuff that's out too. Because I was exposed to a lot of small press. I loved Bone. When I was going to the comic store, that was a book I looked forward to when it was out. Bone. What was the other one? Strangers in Paradise by Terry Moore. Yeah. I mean, those were gems. I saw them as gems. I was like, this is cool. Like it's your own thing, and it's different, exactly. And that's what I loved about the comic book in the industry. I guess the industry, not so much the Comic Cons, but the fact that not the industry culture, the comic book culture, going to a store and talking to the employees or talking to the other customers that were there and say, hey, well, have you checked out this book? And oh wow, no, I never heard of this. Well, I'll pick it up. I'll check it out. And then come back the next month and continue on the relationships and conversations with other fans of various books, So I don't want that to go away. But it might happen, because right now you and I, this is what we're doing here is what comic book stores used to do.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That was because I worked for a comic store for a couple of years, and that was the big thing. It was the Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And there would be conversations going for hours.
Those are fun.
Standing around talking comics, movies,
It's not a coincidence that this show is on a Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's so great.
True. And I miss those days of actually sitting around and doing that, getting no work done, just making comics and
Yeah, and those were fun. Those were, I mean, back my comic book shop, that's what we used to do too, and just talk about what if during if Hulk fought the Superman, well, how would that turn out? And just discuss that, or discuss your favorite writer, discuss favorite artist, or talk smack on a writer, talk smack on an artist. Or the gossip, the industry gossip, that kind of stuff. So
what happens when Uru collides with vibranium?
Yeah.
Right? Those were the conversations I remember having as a kid.
Yeah, exactly. I miss those. The inner nerd in me,
Yeah. So Julius, I wanted to ask now. So you're kind of embracing the crowdfunding through Indiegogo, but have you done any actual exhibiting at conventions? Has any of that been in your past, or would you consider it for the future?
I would consider it for the future. Yeah, absolutely. I would consider it for the future. It would just depend on the guidelines that the states, because I know every state's different in terms of guidelines through the COVID. And so if, depending on the guidelines of the state I'm in, which is California, of course I'll be open to that. It's just they're kind of expensive, in my end of the spectrum. They're I wouldn't mind taking a small spot and just just trying to sell my books there. It's just that it's a matter of money. It's a matter of finance. And if I could do it, oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I wouldn't mind. I would love to put boxes of my books in the backseat of my car, my table, my banner, and drive to the con, set up and sit there for 8 hours and hopefully converse with potential fans and readers of my stuff. So yeah, absolutely. I would love to do that.
My recommendation to you, Julius, is like so I don't know what the California convention scene's like, but like if you go on Facebook and start looking around, you could probably find like some really nice like one-day shows. That's where I recommend starting. Like sometimes like some of the best shows I've ever done were like one day, single day like library shows. Like where you don't even have to pay that much. Like there's like a library show around here in Massachusetts that I do, and they don't charge for a table, but they do ask for like 10% of the profits you make that day. So
I see.
You make about $100, you owe them $10. You know what I mean?
Oh, so that's marginal.
It's a great.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and there's no low risk. And because I'll tell you, like, if you just start in the convention scene, Johnny will tell you this too. It takes a long time to turn a profit in the convention.
Oh, so I would imagine.
Them always expect to lose money, because I've been doing conventions since like 2008, and I think I just started making money like 5 years ago.
Hey, you persisted. That's the key. You persisted.
You're just gonna be around, and you gotta outlast. Like that's the thing. Like, even with YouTube, I'm finding like me and Johnny started this show. Johnny, 4 months ago, maybe at this point, or
roughly, yeah
roughly, and like our subscribers base is growing and growing, but it's taken time. But I think it's also that me and him are consistent. We always put something up every Wednesday, so there's always something going up, and it's like, key. Yeah, that is key. And it's just consistency and longevity is what's going to, win the race. There's no like quick, There's no quick turnaround.
Yeah. That's what I learned early on when I did 10 years ago when I did start to pursue comics, and thankfully I did marry a woman who understood and has supported me all the way through. And
that's important.
Which is great.
And I explained to her because she didn't know anything about what I was trying to do, and so when I explained to her, look, here's the situation that I want to do, and so when I explained everything to her, she's like, well, I'll be with you all the way, and you'll get there eventually. It's like a marathon race. That's what she when after I explained everything to her, she told me, okay, so you're essentially running a marathon. So just pace yourself and just keep going. Get those cups of water, pour over your head, and keep going until you get to the finish line. And so that's why the Indiegogo campaign or the crowdfunding campaign in general, that's the finish line for me. Because I have been, I did some like I told you guys earlier, I did submit a lot of stuff to like Image and Dark Horse and any publisher that had open submissions, and a lot of them got turned down, but I kept going. And
you
have to keep going. Exactly.
Even when I finally got accepted by Alterna, because Alterna is tough to get into too. But even
Peter Samedi, man, he expects quality,
He does. I love Pete, and I love what he's doing, and like he does expect quality. And the thing is like even when I submitted, like I had to basically almost redo my entire first issue because he liked parts of it, but it wasn't quite there. Wow. And he was 100% right too. When I redid it, it was a million times better. So he definitely knows his stuff, even though sometimes it's like you don't want to hear that.
Yeah, that's tough, right, man. Yeah, you're like, no, shut up.
Yeah, it's almost like I've learned over the years, it's like almost like whenever you get criticism, you just gotta kind of take a step back and like take it in for a little bit and think about it before you like let the ego get in,
Yeah, there's a term for that. It's a saying. It's leave your ego at the door. That's
true.
You have to leave your ego at the door. And constructive criticism is the best thing that a writer can take if you do get constructive criticism. And that's why I always tell young up and coming writers and artists that I do interact with, and I always tell them, like, look, don't ever take anything personal when someone says it's not that good, because there's a reason why they're saying that. They may not be able to explain to you why, because they don't want to hurt your feelings and whatnot, but you can't take it personal, because after all, this is still a business. You still have to sell units because the more units you sell, the more money you make. The more money you make, the more projects you could get out there. So
yeah, and
you gotta keep that in mind.
The other thing that you're doing that's correct, or you're making books. Like a lot of people want to kind of sideline it by just writing a script and getting it sent in, but the best thing you can do is make comics,
right?
And for other things to happen, that's the best advice, I think.
Well, also it's like you're paying it forward too. It's like once you've hit that next level of understanding and realizing and paying it forward to the other individuals, it's like spreading that goodwill. You're also kind of ingraining and creating the comic community, the comic creator community.
Right. Yeah.
And actually,
absolutely.
I just wanted to highlight this for a second. Roland, that's exactly the con I was talking about. See, like I met Roland last year at the Haverhill Comic Con, which is one of the library shows. And now, like, he's he's following what we're doing.
Awesome.
He's always joining our chats and like offering great comments and good like talking points. So
you're a great man, Roland. You're a great person.
Yeah, thanks, Roland.
Thanks for being here, Roland.
Yeah.
Roland, I hope to see you at Haverhill whenever it happens again. So it's like
hopefully this whole thing
I think like 2021 is going to be a wash. I was telling Johnny about it. Unless they get like a vaccine, I don't think they're going to have any conventions next year.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to wait for that. I think that's what's going to happen. Hopefully, it's not forced. Hopefully, it's a choice.
I mean, like I did a show. Like basically every show that I had this year got canceled except for one that was like 2 months ago. And I was a little leery about doing it, but the promoter was like, oh, we're going to have all the safety stuff in place and this and that. So I ended up doing it. And it was interesting because the first couple of hours was really good. Like there was like a lot of people at the show, but then you find out that a lot of the people that were at the show were the hardcore comic collectors and not just the casual fans. So those guys got all their books. They cleared out. The place was like a ghost town for like the rest of the day, So I just don't think I don't think the time is right yet for cons, but it's the perfect time to actually do work and
I think there's gonna next year is gonna be the year where people are gonna be very hungry for new content, and they're gonna wanna the election has been the forefront on everyone's mind. So after the election is over, people are gonna hopefully breathe easy and are gonna be eager, like, hey, I'm looking for something. I'm looking for distractions to get my mind off this stuff. So hopefully that is the case. And Comic Cons, I do hope they don't go away. I hope they still stick around because again, that's another staple of getting your stuff out there and also interacting with people as well.
Yeah.
Well, I went to the first time I went to San Diego Comic Con was about 3 years before Hollywood, got the little greasy hands in there and sullied it with their stuff. And it was fantastic being able to talk to, like, for instance, Tim Sale, who was one of my favorite artists. I got to talk to him for a few minutes and picked his brain. I got to talk to Eduardo Rizzo for a few minutes and picked his brain. Mike Mignola, it was great being able to just, hey man, like, do you have any advice for, an up and coming writer? And he would be more than happy to give me some of his time, and also befriend people at the cons and talk to other, editors, small time editors and whatnot. So I hope it doesn't go away. I hope it still stays strong. And I hope 2021 kind of we get what we need. So that way everything can open back up again slowly but surely, and then get right back to where we left off, hopefully, God willing.
Yeah, no, and I agree with that. I think, like, even if by some chance, like, comic stores like half of them went away, I think conventions would still be a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, those are fun. Conventions are fun. Like,
Yeah,
who doesn't like going to conventions?
You get the comics, you get the people cosplaying as the characters, you got the panels to go to.
Yeah, the panels were my favorite. The panels were my favorite.
Fun time, especially I love the comic creator panels. Like Johnny does a lot, and I've sat in on a few of them too, and they're a lot of fun to just answer questions and talk to people. And then you get the great thing about doing those is the people come to your table after and check out your stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
I also like, so even with the San Diego panels, I would go to the breaking into comics and how to write a comic. Even though like I'm already making comics, it's like it was always nice to go to those. Just to find a seat for a second, just to chill, drink some water, hydrate. But also just to be like, okay, like I'm on the right path. Like I'm doing whatever, you know what I mean? Like just kind of like a reaffirming thing. And you never should stop learning anyway. And you never know, I remember always walking away with something, even if it was like a lot of the time I'd be sitting there going, oh yeah, I know that. But then, you'd find a nugget or two,
Yeah, absolutely. You're absolutely right. I remember I went to one of those panels, the breaking into comics panels, and it was two creators I never heard of. They were indie creators. They were a husband and wife team, and they pretty much repeated the same thing I already knew. But the one thing I did learn was back up your work. I was like, I have to back up my work.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that. So the next day I went to the store and bought myself an external hard drive to make sure I backed up my work.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. You can always learn like more, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've been doing this stuff for like 15 years. And I always see, like when I'm at a convention, I'll see someone do like a unique like table setup, and I'm like, ooh, I like that, and I steal that, Like I've even given Johnny a few pointers on things.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely. You always can learn something, and that's I think the beauty of those panels,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Something somebody does that you're like, oh, that is a good idea, or, you know what I mean? Like just
yeah. And also the other panels that were fun is actually going to like a DC or Marvel panel and being able to see the writers and artists for the first time. You're like, wow, I never thought you would look like that. But it's cool. I'll share a story. I once went to a Vertigo panel years ago. It was when Vertigo was at his peak. Brian Azzarello was there, and he was writing Hellblazer, I think, at the time.
Oh, and geez, that is
I sat in the front with my friend, and they announced that the Constantine was going to be made into a movie, and someone said, "Oh, who's playing Constantine?" And the host was like, "Oh, I think Keanu Reeves," and everyone was like, "Oh!" Everyone groaned. And Brian Azzarello snapped, man. Like he was like, "Oh, I'm getting. This is why I hate you guys. You guys don't care. You guys just pick up the book. Just buy the book. Buy the book, support the book, and that's all you need to do, okay? Jeez, it's just a damn movie." And he slapped it down. Me and my friend, we started busting up laughing. We were like, "Wow!" And he started mad dogging me because he thought I was laughing at him. And I was like, oh, crap, I think I pissed off Brian Azzarello. I was like, crap.
Well, actually,
that's awesome.
Brian Azzarello, he seems like he's not too hard to piss off. So
yeah, so I was like, I'm not gonna ask him for his autograph today. I'm gonna wait until tomorrow. So that way he'll forget about me.
Yeah.
Have you ever done any of the Hall H stuff, Julius?
The what stuff?
Have you done anything in San Diego? Have you ever done like any of the Hall H stuff?
I went a few of those. Yeah, some of those. Typically,
fun.
I always stick to the comics. I don't go to the movie parts because that's just too much for me. But the last time I went to Comic-Con, I went to I think it was Image. I think Image had their Hall H stuff there for like their books, and that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
When I go to shows, I'm more about the comics myself. Or reading some new creators, or shopping, just walking through Artist Alley, see if something catches my eye.
Yeah, definitely.
Met a lot of artists that way. A lot of cool writers, a lot of friends. Me and Johnny, we're in like the same circles up here, so a lot of our friends are the same, and things like that. So, but all right, guys, let's start wrapping this up. We're at an hour already.
All right. Wow. Now that was fast. I was like, flew by.
And good stuff. I mean, well, like let me share the campaign one more time for everybody.
Yeah, and if any last minute questions from the audience or anything, well, Keith's bringing up the campaign page.
Yeah. And like I said earlier in the show, this looks like it's going to be something worthy of your attention, especially if you're a martial arts fan, Lee fan.
It's also it's a little bit for it's a little bit of everything for everyone. It's not just balls out action martial arts. There is a story here about a character who questions he kind of questions his own humanity in a lot of ways, because when you guys read the story, that he starts noticing that he's enjoying hurting people. So he starts wondering, like, whoa, am I doing the right thing? Am I supposed to be doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I sullying the teachings of Bruce Lee, that kind of thing? So it's also it's also a kind of a thriller as well, as you guys will see if you guys do contribute to the campaign and get yourselves a copy of the book. I would say it's like it's a love letter for sure to the old Hong Kong movies, where the good guy, they set up the good guy, they set up the bad guy, and then in the end they meet.
Yeah.
And someone has to go down. So that's the essentially what will happen. But the way it gets there, that's the journey. That's the adventure you guys are going to enjoy.
Is the fun part.
Yeah.
All of my Way of the Dragon feels are tingling.
And then this looks great. And then Julius has a YouTube channel. I'll link that into the description of the video.
Yeah, check me out. I'll be doing and my Twitter. Follow me on Twitter for updates as well.
I mean, look,
you follow me, I'll follow you back. No problem, no questions asked. And
great is that artwork. The coloring is good.
Awesome. Yeah, that image was drawn by an artist named McKinley from Texas. And if you watch one of the videos, I think it's in the second or third video, where I talk about him drawing this particular story. But yeah, the colors were done by Julio Falkenhagen, who's the inker of the Ghetto Dragon No Good Deed project that's going to be launched on Indiegogo. So he and I have been working together for the last 5 years, and he's great to work with. Check him out if you get a chance to follow him on Instagram.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
We got my wife is asking, what kind of perks are you planning to do with the campaign?
Oh man.
Or have you built it up yet? Or are you still
there is, the perk is the book. Unfortunately, I'm gonna try to do this as cheap as I possibly can. So it's not gonna be, I can guarantee you this, guys, right now. It's not gonna be over $25.
Okay. That's good.
So
and
with the shipping,
over 50 pages.
Yeah, and that's over 50 pages. So you're gonna get a pretty good deal, and that's gonna be the perk. And the reason for that is because this is my first campaign. I'm a one-man team at the moment. So if the campaign does hit a certain amount of if I hit a certain goal, then I'll think about what kind of perks I can offer, because I do want to offer perks. Obviously, like that's a given when any crowdfunding campaign is offering the perks, and I would love to do that if given.
Offer a can of whoop asses.
I should, Seven. I should.
Yeah, you know what? You could get people's addresses, go to their house. That's a great. Julius, one thing I was gonna say, like some things to think about for perks. You could do a print. Have like one. Do the cover as a print. And when you do it, think about keeping the print the size of the book so that it's easy for shipping. You could do.
See, that's what. See, I didn't think about that, because I was thinking like, then I have to buy tubes to protect the prints of the poster size and whatnot.
What you need to do is get they're called Gemini mailers, and they're like
I looked into that. Yeah, that's why I'm planning on getting Gemini mailers for sure.
Yeah, if you can, like, look at how much they are and kind of build that into your initial goal, so that you can cover you know, the mailing and everything. Also, and make sure you add, you know, give yourself enough money for shipping and all that stuff.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Sure.
Other things you can offer, bookmarks are always good, stickers.
Yeah.
Some stretch goals you could do is you could offer like a backup story, like if you reach a certain amount of, you know.
Yeah, that was another thing I was thinking about too. The old if you ever have a chance to check out the old videos, the short version of my YouTube channel, that's where I talk about when I attempted to do shorts for the Ghetto Dragon, and you can check out the pages there. And if you guys that are watching, if you guys do watch the video and you guys think that this is something you guys would like to have, you know, leave a comment or tweet at me and let me know, like, hey, this is actually something that I would like to have as well, so I can add it to my perk, or if I reach a certain goal.
Send Julius suggestions like on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm open. This is I'm a virgin to all this, so deflower me, people. Crowdfunding campaign. It's my first time doing it, so I gotta learn. I gotta make sure I get everything right, you know, so that way everyone gets their book on time, everyone gets it safely, everyone gets it undamaged, and you know, I build my brand up as the time goes on.
Yeah, definitely. That's the way to do it. And then I'm finding with like the crowdfunders, especially people that are doing them, are even getting more fans with their next campaigns. You know, like they're making more money. You know, so yeah, there's definitely something to it. It's working opposite of how the comic industry works, whereas like usually a comic industry, the first issue sells a lot, but then there's like a huge drop off after.
Yeah, that's tragic, man. I've always hated that. I was like, why?
I hate that too. You know.
It's like, dude, the overall story arc is what should sell the book. It's like, why focus on number one and not the last issue of the series? Like that's nonsense to me.
Yeah,
you know, it's like the remember The Authority by Mark Millar and Frank Quitely.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of every issue, I was like, I can't wait for the next one. I can't wait until the end of the story. It's gonna be great. And now it's like, number one, guys, here it is. All right, see you later. You know, number one, done. It's like, really?
Yeah, it's really bizarre the way the industry works like that. You know. And then Johnny, I'll show you have some stuff coming up, right, in November.
Oh yeah, so this is my Global Comics page, and what I'm going to be doing for the month of November, starting with November 1st, my birthday, all my comics will be free for the month.
Ooh,
that's when November 1st?
Starting November 1st, all the way up until the end of the month.
Free on Global Comics.
Free on Global Comics. So you can read Surrounded by Death 1, you can read Surrounded by Death 2 Preview Edition, you can read issue 1 of The Pond,
nice.
You can read Sartana 1 and 2, and then The Pond 2 will be up there soon.
All right, great. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'll put a link in the description of the video too for people on that, and we'll promote that over the next month too as we do live streams and stuff.
Very cool, man. Yeah, tweet that out and I'll retweet you for sure.
Awesome.
People know about it. Yeah.
And I think we're all following each other now, right? I think.
Yeah, sure.
I think we're linked up.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
I hope I did. I'll follow you. If I'm not following you, I'll make sure to follow you back.
Yeah, right. All right. So we'll wrap this one up. Johnny will be back in 2 weeks with another live stream. I think I have someone lined up, although I gotta just cement it. Someone hit me up today that wants to be on the show, and I proposed to them for the the following week to jump on. So hopefully, and then I'll have a review next week. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet for a comic review, but I'll have something up next week. So
cool, yeah. Julius, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you taking your time.
Thank you for having me on, guys. I really do appreciate it. I really do appreciate the opportunity to showcase the book and hopefully when I launch it, I will be doing live streams on my channel as well to promote the campaign. And I hope you guys have me on again. You know, not only for this show, but if you guys have other shows, I'll be more than happy to join the guest and we could talk movies, we could talk freaking comics. Doesn't really matter what. I'm willing and game to join in.
Awesome.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, we'd love to have you back.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
You're like you're like just a cool dude that can just hang, you know. So
yeah, and then vice versa. If I have a live stream, I'll invite you guys too. If you guys are interested in joining in, we'll just shit.
Yeah,
jump on
let me know.
So, you know, so yeah, definitely let me know. We'd be happy to do it. So
Cool. All right.
Hey, everybody, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you, everyone, too. Appreciate
a great episode here. I'm gonna play the outro and then close this on out. All right, guys, have a good week.